so are you done with this? And she was like, yeah, I'm done. Today, normally we film a vlog that's like showing our day, but today I wanted to do something a little bit different because of a conversation that I had yesterday with Dove, our oldest, who's 18. And I just wanted to tell that story and what I'm thinking and feeling because it felt like a breakthrough for me. Dove turned 18 about 5 months ago. It's weird, like it felt like everything changed and then it felt like nothing changed. But Cammie and I decided we weren't going to kick her out or just start charging her rent or anything really that differently. We were just gonna keep on doing what we're doing, which is provide a free place to stay, but also ask that she contribute to the household and like do chores, which everyone in our house has agreed to do 5 hours a week of chores, and like that's kind of it. Well, anyways, about 2 weeks ago, a project came up for me that was really important to me. I'm writing this book about the Appalachian Trail with Cammie and our hike, and I needed a map designed for the inside, and I thought Dove would be really good at this. So I asked her to do this kind of as a favor. You know, I wasn't necessarily offering to pay her, but I also wasn't like ordering her as a parent. I just said, hey, can you do this? And she said, yeah, I can do that. And one day, like, I came home and I could tell there was like a stack of photocopies of maps on the table, and she was like overwhelmed, and I needed this map, and I said, hey, did you do this map? And she said, I tried, I can't. And I said, well, you agreed to do it. And it just kind of like ended there. So then the next day I was like, so are you done with this? And she was like, yeah, I'm done. And I was like, okay. And it was a bummer to me because, well, the map wasn't done. And also I felt like she could have like done it if she really wanted to or put more effort in. Like, she didn't ask me any questions. She didn't ask for help, even though I could tell she tried. Like, she's the type of person where if she wants to get something done, I know she'll do it. So like, she can organize like large groups of people and get them to hang out in downtown Cincinnati at 3 a.m. So when she prioritizes it, but I could tell she wasn't prioritizing my map. So I kind of made the decision to just kind of tone back the amount of favors that I was doing for her. Not to like teach her a lesson, but I was just like, well, I wasn't really feeling it anymore. I was like, if you're not gonna bend over backwards here, or if you're gonna do like what feels like bare minimum, then don't expect me to drop everything I'm doing to find you an Uber on my phone, or to figure out how to cash your checks, or to, you know, like figure out how you could be on our cell phone or a car, or any of these things, all of which I consider like favors. Like, I don't think we owe that to her as a parent. And part of it was because, like, just introspectively, my feelings were hurt, and I didn't feel like it's a reciprocal relationship. And this is a little bit tricky because when our kids are dependent upon us and they're smaller, of course, like, it's really uneven, and that's okay. Like, we're like, I'm gonna make you all your food, and I'm gonna pay for everything, I'm gonna do all these things for you. But the older I think our kids have gotten, the more I'm comfortable with saying, I know you're capable of these things, and even though you're choosing not to do them, I shouldn't feel bad if I don't do them either. There was maybe hurt feelings on my part, but then there's also this question and this feeling I have where if we're letting her stay in our house, and if we're doing everything for her, we're paying for her cell phone, and we're paying for her car, and we're like bending over backwards to kind of help her get by in life, I feel like we're actually enabling her and kind of cheating her of life experiences. So eventually things kind of came to a head because she wanted her mom and I to talk about if she could have access to our car. And I've been like really busy lately. And finally I was like, you know, we'll talk about it if I get the time. Otherwise, right now I'm really busy. And she was like, is this about the map? And I go, yeah, this is about the map. So she asked to talk about it. And sure enough, yesterday we sat down and we talked about it. And it was such a weird conversation because I just started off by saying, you know, like, this is a conversation. I don't know what I'm doing. I've never done this before. like you're our oldest kid and I've never had a relationship with an 18-year-old that's mine. I just kind of asked her in the beginning, like, please respond to what I'm saying. Like, don't take it as like me telling you like what's going on or what you need to do. And I could tell that that transition has also been a bit awkward for her, because we used to have these roles where we were like the parent, and what we said they like did. And they didn't always do it, like sometimes they like disobeyed, but that was like being rebellious. But either way, the roles were defined, like we were the cop and she was like the citizen, or we were the parent and they were the child. And now the roles are like more fuzzy. So anyways, just up front, I was like, hey, I'm not the cop here, or I'm not just the parent. Like, I'm sharing my feelings just as like a guy. And I could tell that that was uncomfortable for her, because she's used to being told like what to do. Like that was the main category she had to interact with me. So I shared with her like my feelings about the map, and I said, you know, we're trying to give you space, and I'm trying not to ask a lot of favors of you. I really love the fact that you have a lot of freedom, and I love that you go out till 3 a.m. and I love that you're hanging out with your friends and looking for jobs and doing things, and I want you to have those types of things. But when I ask you for a favor, and it wasn't just that she said no, it was that she said yes and then she didn't follow through, I felt. And then she kind of made an excuse, like, because she said I couldn't do it. And I said, I think you can. I think you actually don't care enough. So I'd rather you just say, I don't care about your thing. In which case, I'm probably gonna say about your projects, well, I don't really care about them either. Because like, if you're not gonna bend over backwards for me or do me favors, I don't wanna be in the type of relationship, which is now more of like I said, it's more of a peer-based friendship. It's not just a parent-child relationship. But I don't wanna be in the type of relationship with an adult that's not willing to kind of like look out for me or scratch my back if I don't scratch theirs. Now, I still love you, and I'll still like want you to be in the house, but don't expect me to drop everything for your stuff. And I could tell that there is this like thing happening in both of our heads where we're like, oh wow, like this is different. You know, I mean, as a dad, it feels weird to be vulnerable and to say, wow, I want to be friends with you, and to face that potential rejection. It's so much easier just to lay down rules and stay in that kind of parent-child relationship. And I told her, you know, it's like your choice, like how deep we go here. And I was saying that not as a threat, or not with any moral kind of judgments, or like, you know how you can say something like, oh, it's your choice, but really like, I know what the right choice is. It wasn't that way. It was just like, I would prefer to go kind of as deep as we're able to and overlap our lives as much as we both can afford right now. But also, I understand that each person in the relationship gets to decide how much space they want. So you get to decide that, is what I was telling her. And if you want to like have the type of relationship where we're both kind of like in each other's life a bunch and doing each other a bunch of favors, or like interacting on that way, I want to meet you there if I can. But if you don't, like what's not an option is for me to like be your bitch and do a bunch of stuff, because I don't think it's what's best for me. I don't think it's what's best for her. I don't think it's what's best for an adult relationship in the long run. Like I'll feel resentful, I'll feel taken advantage of, and we're probably more likely to like kick her out of the house or force her to get a job or do something like kind of reactive in that way. And she responded like in a way, I don't want to say like really well, because I think that was like implies a moral way, but I really appreciated her response, where I could tell like she was seeing my humanity as a peer. And she kind of made some offhand comment, like she first said, is this about the book? And I said, yeah, it is. And she was like, oh, I guess I'm not used to relating to you guys as a peer. And I go, yeah, me neither. But it just kind of like leveled the playing field. And I noticed that it gave me an opportunity to vent, not in a demeaning way to someone beneath me, but just to a friend, and just to kind of let some laundry out and to say, yeah, I feel like, you know, I don't ask many favors, and when I do ask one and you don't do it, it makes me not want to ask for others. And then I start like going into more of a protective mode, and I don't really want to be like expand that friendship with that type of person. And I could tell that she didn't actually want that. Like she wants to be friends with me, which is really cool. Like that when your kid wants to be friends with you, but I still don't think we either of us like maybe really know how. Like we're figuring this out. Once she heard that, she was like, she apologized and said, you know, that was kind of a crappy thing to do, and I wish I would have done it differently, and I should have blah, blah, blah. And I actually said, well, just so you know, this isn't something I think you should have done necessarily, I just want you to know like how it impacts me, because like I think she's gonna take different amounts of freedom to determine what's comfortable for her. And sometimes the kids, I'm expecting the kids are gonna want like more freedom, and I don't want them to feel judged by me or regret it when they do, because I think that's an essential stage of learning that I've experienced, and I hope we can provide for our kids, that they can like take a few steps out and jump out of the nest, or you know, make what some people call like mistakes, but know like we're okay with them stepping out of our will and our preferences and our house and things like that. So I could tell that she went to this mode where she was like beating herself up and said, well, I should have done this, I should have done that. And I was like, you know, I don't see it that way. We're just like adults, and we get to decide what kind of relationship we want, how close we want to be at. Isn't that like cool? Because like, I know what I want. I hope you want to be friends, because I really think you're cool and I like you. I just saw this thing, like this magic happen where it was like, oh, like I was talking to her like a friend would. You know how like if you have a friend that's like kind of treating you like crap and you take them out to coffee and you're like, man, what you said like really hurt me. The friend wouldn't like, well, hopefully a good friend wouldn't like get defensive or feel like, you know, you're the teacher or the principal. They would just be like, see themselves as an equal. That's how this felt. So that's it. So it's just kind of nice, because today she asked me for a few favors. Like she was like, hey, can you help me deposit these checks, and can you do this? And I was like, yeah, I totally can. I had like all sorts of energy like come back to me, and I was like, yeah, that's what bros do. Like we treat each other with respect, right? And we were like laughing about it because it was a joke, but there was a truth there also, which is like, oh yeah, we're like the bros, or we're friends, or we're equals. I felt like we were able to get past this thing that was welling up inside of me to a place where, you know, it's just new territory, and it's exciting and it's fun. So it felt like a victory. And, you know, the one thing I thought about was, she was like, well, why didn't you tell me, you know? And I was like, I don't think you would have wanted to hear, you know? And I said, can you imagine this? And I kind of played out the scenario. If she says, Dad, I don't want to do the cover, the map, and I say, okay, well, you want to hear my reasons for why I think this is a bad idea, or why this hurt my feelings or something? And she kind of instantly knew, like what I decided was I need to wait for her to come to me, because a lot of parenting I found doesn't work, or even relationships. It's not even about parenting, maybe it's about relationships, when you're trying to force your opinion down someone's throat, or be like, hey, you need to hear my point of view on this. And I wasn't trying to be passive aggressive, I don't think, or I wasn't trying to lord over some sort of resentment over her. I was just like, you know, I'm gonna pull back a little bit and see how she responds, and I want to be ready to respond if she responds. And I think it worked out better this way than me jumping right on it and saying like, hey, you did this and it impacts me this way. And I think she agreed to that because, yeah, well, she heard that and she was like, kind of like, yeah, I don't think I would have responded had you brought that up right away. So it's just kind of like, you know, I guess maybe it's a little scary wondering how long is it too long to wait, you know, or am I waiting for the right reasons, or is it even the right move, or what should I do? And I don't know, like if it was the right move. It just felt like it worked out and it was good, and I'm happy with where I'm at. I'm happy with where Dove's at, and I'm excited. I don't know. You know, with this vlog, we are committed to just trying to share our story in as honest a way possible. And I don't know if this helps some of you out there. If it does, that's cool. If not, maybe you'll find another video that is more helpful to you, but this is what's going on with us, and I thought I'd share with you guys. So thanks for listening, and we'll see you guys tomorrow.